First up, our top story. Tensions are running high at Maruti Suzuki's Manesar plant today. Maruti has sacked 25 more workers at the plant and around 1,500 striking workers are being evicted by the police following orders from the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Defying the court's orders, workers continued their sit-and strike on the premises for the 8th consecutive day. Production at the plant in the meanwhile is at a complete standstill. Workers at the plant have struck work and are protesting inside the factory since the 7th of October. Workers are demanding reinstatement of 44 of their suspended colleagues. My colleague Nidhi Francis has been tracking this stir and joins us now. Nidhi, Maruti's Manesar problems continue. What could be the solution?
Well, nothing seems to be going right for Maruti Suzuki at this point in time, despite the Haryana High Court stepping in and ordering the workers to vacate the premises. Well, nothing of that sort has happened. The workers still are holding the plant captive. In fact, there's a heavy deployment of police on all the 3 gates of the Manesar plant of Maruti, but clearly there is no way forward. In the meantime, the management says that they are not going to talk to any of the workers or come to the negotiating tables till the time the whole issue gets sorted out, until the time the workers vacate the factory. In fact, the Labour Commissioner is also in talks with the workers, who has said, in fact has declared that the strike stands illegal. On the other hand, in the meantime, Maruti is facing tough conditions, tough problems related to the manufacturing, as the production at its Manesar facility stands at nil, and now even the Gurgaon plant has come to a standstill, and that's essentially happened due to the paucity of diesel power trains, with the supply which has been affected from the Suzuki plant. So not in good shape. Maruti is really not in good shape, and there seems to be no resolution in the horizon. That's what's really worrying the management right now.
Thanks, Nidhi. Let me introduce our guest, Maruti Suzuki Chairman R.C. Bhargava, joining us on the phone line. Rakhi, Sehgal, organizer of the new trade union initiative, who's joining us in our Delhi studio. Thank you both for joining us. And Mr. Bhargava, let me just start off with you. What is the management's take currently on the overall issue? Where does it stand right now?
The position has not changed. There is a High Court order asking the workers to vacate the factory and remain outside the 100-yard perimeter. But the workers don't seem to be complying with the orders of the High Court. And that's the situation.
But what's the impact on revenues, Mr. Bhargava? You've taken quite a hit already. Does production continue to be completely stalled?
We're not working today and tomorrow, but let's see what happens after that.
But when can we expect the negotiations to restart with the workers?
Well, the first step, I think, has to be the workers to clear the premises. After that, we'll see how they react. Whether they want to start negotiations, call off the strike, what they will do, we don't know yet.
Right. Mr. Bhargava, is it not disturbing that this is happening now for the 4th or 5th time, despite all efforts in the past to reach some kind of solution? Last time, you know, there was this whole good conduct code that was created, and they were asked to sign that. Despite all of the attempts in the past, continuing problems, you know, what is the larger issue here?
Yeah, no, it is, as you said, somewhat disturbing that these people seem to have no regard or consideration for the law, for the agreement, for the words they give, nothing. They just want to create a disturbance. And so that is certainly disturbing. But there's something else perhaps there with the worker, I don't know. What are they so misguided, or are they so irresponsible? Very difficult to say.
But Mr. Bhargava, do you see this problem spreading to the entire region? Is it a regional issue?
Well, this kind of behavior spreads, then I think the other companies may have a problem, but I hope it will not spread.
Right, sir. Thanks for joining us. With me in the studio is Rakhi, Sehgal. She's an organizer on behalf of the workers of Maruti. Rakhi, what's the ground level situation right now? We've heard different versions, where the police are evicting the workers or the workers are vacating on their own. What is the correct situation right now?
The correct situation is that the workers were served the High Court order by the police commissioner last night at 11:30 p.m. and they were given 24 hours to comply with the order. So all news media reports and what Mr. Bhargava was saying are incorrect. The workers are complying with the High Court order. They have taken a firm decision that they will not turn this into a law and order situation. They were given 24 hours to comply with the High Court order, which is what they're doing. At 8:30, Mr. Shiv Kumar, the General Secretary of the Maruti Suzuki Employees Union, addressed the workers, explained the situation, and they have complied.
So where does it head now? They are vacating the premises, but
they are allowed to continue.
Are we any closer to a solution? What is required for a solution to this issue?
Mr. Bhargav has said that it depends on what the workers want to do. We would actually like to ask Mr. Bhargav what is it that Maruti Suzuki company would like to do, because actually this entire situation has been aggravated by management's attitudes. The fact that it is unwilling to talk to its workers and address their long-standing grievances as well as their just demands, and instead it wants to take unilateral actions and expects the workers to have no say in this. There's no notion of industrial relations, far less any notion of democratic industrial relations. All that the workers have, where did this start? It started with the workers spending a year and a half asking the very union that Mr. Bhargav wants them to join, the Maruti Udyog Kamgar Union, to address the grievances at the Manesar plant. When that did not happen, workers finally, and management was also not talking to them, workers finally decided to form their own independent union to give voice to their grievances. They start doing that, and that is by law their right to organize their own union. They have the right to make an independent choice of what union they would like to join. That is all that they were doing, exercising a right given to them by the Indian Constitution and the Indian laws.
Okay.
And there, all I would like to say is that there was a step taken in the right direction in this last settlement, but it seems that management itself has forgotten about it. There is a clause that the Labour department had nudged the company towards, including a clause which said when there are any grievances that come up in the company, they would constitute a bilateral committee with workers' representatives as well as management representatives to try and resolve the problem in a democratic way. If that doesn't happen, only then would the Labour Department be called in to resolve the issues. Instead, what did the company do 34 days ago? Again, I would say if there was certainly, if at all there was an issue of sabotage or go slow, under the Industrial Disputes Act, in the 5th schedule, it says this is an unfair labour practice.
Let me interrupt you because I think my colleague Abha has a question for you.
Sure, Abha.
Right, Rakhi, just continue, but also wanted to get a sense from you because the picture really being painted here and is that of, unruly employees who are being extremely difficult without valid reason. They signed a contract, they're not abiding by it. We really want to hear your side of the picture as well. We're also hearing things like, they're damaged property, they're refusing to leave the premises, and this is not legal. What if, there was an instance where force was used to actually evict these employees from the premises? I mean, what if it reaches that stage? Is it not better to perhaps, leave the plant and do these negotiations with the management inside an office?
What I'd like to start by saying, Abha, is that it is actually management that has been violating the very agreements that it has been signing. There was an agreement, surely management and Mr. Bhargava will say that we never spoke about the contract workers, but there was an understanding that all workers, either it's the 5th clause or the 8th clause of the recent settlement that they signed, that all workers would be taken back in and there would be no victimization of the workers. However, the very first instance on 3rd October when work is to be resumed, what does management do? It puts 1,100 workers out of work, saying they're not allowed to resume work. That is what this is about. As far as the law and order situation is concerned, in this 5-month-long agitation, there has not been a single incident that you could credit to the workers that has been an act of violence. If at all, it has been management that has tried to provoke them either through the use of bouncers, goons. It is the one that has sent bouncers to harass the women folk of these workers in their homes. It is the management's contractors who have shot guns and thrown beer bottles at the workers. It is the management's supervisors who have attacked a lone worker and tried to provoke. It is the management and the government, at the management's behest, the government arrests the president and the general secretary and other office bearers out of a negotiating room. Are these all conducive to for mutual trust and starting any kind of negotiation? We don't think so. That is what the workers are saying, that all that they want is for democratic industrial relations, a framework to be instituted whereby there is mutual give and take, there is dialogue. In every letter that the workers have written to management for the last 5 months, they've been saying we want to resolve these issues through dialogue, we want management to talk to us. Management has taken this very hard
So
stance.
that's where it's headed. I think now until the management talks, I think without
And it's
that,
not
nothing will
just,
move.
it's not about just talking to them, but talking to them within a framework of democratic industrial relations. You can't just say, I'm talking at you, and you have to comply with it.
So Rakhi, we'll have to leave it at this
Sure.
and we'll be in touch with you as the situation develops. Thanks very much for coming to our studio and explaining the situation.